This conference will now be recorded.
Sue, you're muted.
You're muted, Sue. You need to unmute.
Good evening, everybody. This is the City of Kingston Historic Landmark Preservation Commission meeting. This is our monthly meeting. Today is August 6th, 2020. My name is Suzanne Cahill, Planning Director and Organizer for our virtual meeting. Before we begin the meeting, I want to go over a few meeting guidelines to help navigate this system efficiently and respectfully. We ask that members of the public and press remain muted and off camera for the length of the meeting. As the organizer, I reserve the right to mute anyone who unmutes themselves. Commission members and city staff will control their own mute button. Good practice would be to mute yourself if you are not speaking to avoid background noise and feedback. If a commissioner or staff member wishes to speak, they will raise their hands. The chairperson will call on them before they speak by stating their name clearly for our audio listeners and transcript recording. All of our meetings are recorded. Both video and written transcriptions will be made available to the public on the city's website at a later date. In lieu of public speaking during the monthly meeting, we requested all comments to be received by 2 p.m. on Tuesday, August 4th, 2020. Any comment received would have been posted. However, no comments have been received for this meeting. All meeting materials, applications, supporting documentation, written comments may be found on the city website by going to www.kingston-ny.gov, and on the homepage, scroll down to the bottom under the meetings where you see Historic Landmark Preservation Commission listed. Click the link for agenda and you will find a universal hyperlinks for all the information under each agenda item. If at any time you have an audio issue, please send a text message to the following number, 845-443-0416. I will repeat that number again, but please be aware that phone calls will not be answered during the meeting. Again, the number to text is 845-443-0416. As the organizer for today's meeting, I reserve the right to lock and pause the meeting to eject anyone who has behaved inappropriately or to enter into an attorney-client conference if needed. The Commission wishes to thank everyone for their continued patience during this unusual and difficult time. On their behalf, we wish you and your family good health, and I will now turn the floor over to Chairman Mark Grumblatt to call the meeting officially to order. I do want to make one quick amendment. However, we did receive one late comment from an individual, and that is to deal with item number 2, 311 Wall Street. That was circulated to all of the committee members and staff late this afternoon. So with that, Mark, I'm turning the meeting over to you.
Good evening, all. Thank you for your attendance here at Historic Landmark Preservation Commission. I'm Mark Grunblatt, and I'm going to call the roll for each of our members. I'll ask each of you to unmute and indicate your presence. Okay. Hayes Clement.
Here.
Kevin McAvoy.
Here.
Peter DeMuth.
Here.
Andrea Putz.
Present.
Robert Tonner.
Here.
All right. Julie, if you would also identify yourself.
I'm Julie Edelson Safford. I'm the Historic Preservation Administrator.
All right. Let's see. First order of business is the adoption of minutes from our July meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review those minutes? Are there any comments or amendments to be offered? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as submitted. Would someone like to so move? Robert, thank you for that. Would someone like to second? Andrea, thank you for that. I'll call the roll on the motion to approve minutes. Hayes?
Aye. I voted aye.
Thank you, Hayes. I've called for Kevin. Can you hear me, Kevin?
Yes, aye.
Thank you, Kevin. Peter?
Recusing, I was not at the last meeting.
Thank you. Robert?
Yes.
And Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote in favor. Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 2, 311 Wall Street. Is there someone here for the proponent on this new fence?
Yes, hi, my name is Victoria Polidoro. I'm the attorney for 311 Wall Street LLC. And also here is Corbin Plays. He's the project manager.
All right, so, okay, I see Corbin up in the corner.
Mark?
Question, Robert.
No, sorry to interrupt, but I have to recuse myself.
Oh, all right. Thank you
Yeah,
for letting us know. The normal procedure is for you to take yourself off video and
Okay.
mute yourself for
This
the
is
remainder.
Sue. This is Sue, Mark. Robert, can you just explain or provide us with the reason for your recusal?
Yes, I'm being sued by Mr. Bender.
Well, that's not quite accurate. The LLC that we represent has a defamation action against Kuba, and Mr. Turner is one of the board members. So not Mr. Bender, the LLCs. But we do appreciate you recusing yourself.
So I
Okay,
don't know what to do
thank
with that.
So
Yeah,
I'm
he is on the
sure
board.
you're on the board of an organization.
Kuba.
It's the
Okay.
Kingston Uptown Business Association, and there was a
Familiar.
disagreement. So it's completely unrelated to this matter before your board.
That's fine. If Robert feels he should recuse, it will not destroy our quorum. So I will leave that up to you, Robert. If you're more comfortable sitting this one out, that's fine.
Yep.
Okay, if you would mute and take yourself off camera for this discussion, that would be best. Thanks. All right, Ms. Polidoro, if you would continue.
So I just want to confirm that everyone receives the copies of the plans. What is being proposed is a aluminum black fence to replace the temporary chain link fence along Crown Street and along the southern border of the parcel. It would be 4 feet tall along Crown Street and 6 foot tall along the neighbor line.
I'm sorry, Ms. Polidoro, your audio is kind of breaking up on you. I'm not sure what's the issue.
Shoot, should I try to, maybe I'll try to call in as well?
Well, I think maybe if you just lean in, and I'm not sure the nature of your connection, but I lost you for about 20% of that.
Shoot, it is the connection. We've had low bandwidth with all of the trees down.
Okay. Do you want me to just ask you to repeat if it's not coming through?
I'll make it, yeah, please do. It's a black aluminum fence, 4 feet along Crown Street, 6 feet along the southern property line.
And the southern property line is the stone building at the historic Four Corners. Am I correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
And Ms. Cahill, could you please send me a copy of the comment letter that you received?
Yes, I will do that. Mark, do you want to read that into the record?
All right. I will have to call it up on my computer. Give me a chance to do that. Here we go. It's from Gary Bellows of the ARC Mid-Hudson. They're headquartered at 471 Albany Avenue here in Kingston. The ARC Mid-Hudson would like to request a public hearing in regards to the proposal by Neil Bender. So I guess I'm presuming he's a principal of the corporation here. Ms. Policastro, you can correct me if I'm wrong. To erect a permanent blockade across his parking lot on Crown Street. We believe he's currently in violation of the New York State Code. Regards, Gary. Again, Gary S. Bellows, Business Development Officer at the ARC Hudson. It's a fairly brief request. Let me get folks back on screen. So the request from Mr. Bellows is for a public hearing. He's not giving us a lot of information to go on. Typically, with the request for a public hearing, we are obliged to move ahead and schedule one. That's part of our typical procedures here, Ms. Polidoro. And so what I'd ask you to do is, I think we've got a sense of the design. I think we've got a sense of the layout. Are there other facts about the history of the property or what's expected that you'd like to present to the board at this time?
No, the applicant intends to come back at a future date once a tenant has been confirmed for the site to talk about site-wide improvements. This is just for the fence and the sidewalk.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Mr. Plays, any comments that you'd like to present to the board at this time?
I don't have any additional comments. And
Right.
I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do any board members have questions for either Ms. Polidoro or Mr. Plays? Is anyone? All right. So I'm going to move that we schedule a public hearing on this matter at our next meeting. I believe that's September 3rd. Do I have a second? Thank you, Andrea, for the second. I'll call the roll on the motion. Hayes?
Aye.
Kevin couldn't hear you.
No, I couldn't hear you. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Peter.
Aye.
Note that Robert has recused. And Andrea?
Aye.
I vote in the affirmative as well. Thank you. So we will have you down for public hearing at our next meeting. I hope you're available. If not, please do let us know as quickly as you know.
I will be calling from the beach, but I will be here.
Oh, well, and we'll all be jealous.
Do I need to send notices out or will the city do that?
This is Sue. We will handle all of the public notification on this, okay?
Okay, thank you.
And thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to 242 Wall Street regarding asphalt shingles. Do we have folks here to address that application?
Mark, this is Sue. Yes, Monsignor O'Connor and
Yes,
Judge
here.
Nagrasi are here.
Phil is right here. We also
Wonderful.
have Josh.
Or Philip, I'm sorry. Ciao.
Are you both on the same screen for us?
We're both on the same screen. Right. But then
Great.
Josh is our architect.
Wonderful. As everyone on the, would you like to make your presentation to the board? Either of you, both of you, however you'd like.
No, it is Josh that's supposed to be making it, and he was just on. I don't see him right now.
Have we lost him? Sue, do
Just
you know
lost
what
him.
we're dealing with?
Yeah, I don't know where he went.
Whoops.
Want to give, well, let's just wait 1 minute.
Okay.
Gary, I think, no, she left.
All right. Yes, I saw the notice regarding Ms. Polidoro. All right. I'm going to hang on and I'll mute myself. You'll let me know when you.
Sorry about that. It is, we submitted the plans, and it is replacing the church roof with an architectural shingle. And also there is the bell tower there too. That is not the architect shingle. That's the substance that will be put on
Yes.
that.
Hello, Mr. Chair, can you hear myself?
Yes, we can.
Okay, my apologies. We were hit pretty bad by the storm, so I'm trying to stay in one spot. I'll make this very brief while I have you. We're looking to replace an existing 3-tab asphalt shingle roof with a more period slate-looking asphalt roof by Certainteed, and to all the gutters and soffits and fascias are to be left alone. They're all in good standing order right now, so it's just the repair of the asphalt shingle roof, as well as the EPDM roof up on the bell tower, which is not visible from the street.
All right, fairly straightforward. Any additional commentary, Monsignor, or?
Now, the roof needs to be fixed, and there really is no visibility, so.
All right, are there any questions from anyone on the commission for either the Monsignor or the caller?
I have no questions.
All right. Robert? All right, I'm not seeing any. All right, so the hearing no discussion, I am going to entertain application as a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Would someone like to so move? All right, thank you, Hayes. Would someone like to second? Thank you, Kevin, for the second. I will call the roll. All right. Hayes?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Is there any further discussion among the board on this? All right. Hang on a second. I have just lost folks. All right. Sorry about that. Then I'm going to move that the commissioners present find as fact that the proposed new roof for 242 Wall Street in the Stockade Historic District by applicant PC Studio Architect and owner Monsignor Desmond O'Connor, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of the Kingston City Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the building and the district for the following reasons. That the proposed work is to take place at the St. Joseph's Roman Catholic Church, a large brick building on the southeast corner of Wall and Main Streets, which according to William Rhodes, Kingston, New York, was built in 1832 and 33 as the Reformed Protestant Dutch Church by Albany architect Henry Rector, and in essentially Greek Revival style, having been abandoned by the Dutch Reformed congregation in the 1850s, once the Dutch Reformed Church was having received Romanesque alterations, including the extension at rear by architect J.A. Wood, and a new facade in 1898 by architect William J. Beardsley, when Gothic Revival arches and a low corner tower were added. That the proposed work will involve removal of existing asphalt shingle roof and its replacement with certainteed Centennial Slate Series fiberglass-based roofing shingles in New England's slate color palette. No changes to the front parapet, tower, and battlements, and with the back painted concrete masonry block portions of parapet to be finished with stucco. That this work will cause a material change to the external appearance of the property, that the new roof and back parapet stucco will not detract from the character of the historic district or the building, and that any changes or additions to the plan or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to work being carried out, and that this commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I propose we resolve on this 6th day of August 2020 that this commission grant a preservation notice of action the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein in its application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I hear a second? I'm going to ask you, Hayes, to unmute yourself.
A second.
All right, I will call the roll. Hayes?
Excuse me?
Hayes, I'm calling the roll on the...
aye.
Evan?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. All right, it's carried. Thank you, Monsignor. Thank you. Is it Josh?
Yes, thank you very much and enjoy your evening.
Thank you very much also. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Best of luck with the work.
God bless.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
All right. Next on the agenda is 200 Fair Street. Do we have folks on the call to address that?
Yes, this is Sue. We have Andrew Wright present.
Hello?
Hello, good evening.
All right. If you would describe the project and any other facts about it you'd like to make sure we know before we vote.
Yes, we are, I've owned the building probably about 17 years, had my offices in there. And we're now in a process of restoring it back. You may notice that the wrinkled tin metal roof on the Maiden Lane side is gone. And we're actually now going through to replicate the original buttresses and such for canopies. But in this application, specifically for wanting to paint the facade, we looked at trying to strip the paint. We found a lot of damage underneath. And then you may have noticed I've been playing with different colors and trying to compete with my neighbors, John and such, and what colors he's going with, and using with colors that are in the historic palette of the city. We chose the amber gray on our application. The swatch was on the, what would that be, the northwest corner. We felt that it worked well with the white. We're going to keep the windows white, the dormers white, because the color picked up the mansard roof, and it seemed to be in conjunction without copying any of the other colors, but working with the palette that's going up and down Fair Street, which I'm very proud of. Being there so long, I'm seeing a wonderful renovations go up and down. So that is our wish and our hope. And any questions?
Andrew, this is Sue. Just for clarification, that is the color that's shown in figure number 1?
Okay, let me pull up my, give me a second. I had it up. Oh yes, figure number 1. Let me look at my application. And yes.
Okay.
It's not as dark as in that photo. It's actually a lighter tone, and it picks up what we have on the mansard roof very well.
Do any members of the commission have questions for the applicants? Andrea?
Hi, yes, this is Andrea speaking. Is it the intent to also paint the cornice and all of the details that are on that as well, the same Amherst gray color?
No.
Okay.
Only the brick, and we want to leave all the white that's there. We're going to repaint that as well. White.
Any other questions for the applicant from board members? All right, then, Robert, if you would unmute, please.
Yeah, hi, Andrew. Just quickly, is it a bright white or is it a true white, or, you know?
The windows that have been painted white, and I did this many years ago, will stay the same white. It is not a decorated white, more of a standard white. It's an exterior grade. We've been restoring the windows slowly over the years, caulking them, trying to keep with the original double hungs. We took all the storm panels off, you might have noticed. They're going to come off, and we're going to try to do it from the inside. You can see the scars of what were the old canopies on the entrances, and we found a lithograph from about 1880, which we're going to mimic that original style, but that'll be a later application. This is to clean up the brick. We need a lot of mortar work done, especially on Maiden Lane side, and a couple of windows down the lower level of Maiden Lane, which you can't see. I had that stone wall rebuilt on Maiden Lane side, so this is wonderful kind of entrance down below. We're going to get those windows restored as well, but we're doing that just there. We're going to get them cleaned up. But the color, my feeling is that it would hold that corner very nicely against the green and the white eyeline, highlight. And of course, we'll paint the unfortunate electrical riser pole, which is there on the corner of Maiden Lane and Fair, the color of the brick, so it'll blend in. Yeah, we think that this will give it a nice look.
All right, anyone else? Okay, hearing none, I will ask for a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Thank you, Andrea. Do I have a second? Thank you, Robert. Okay, I will call the roll on that. Hayes,
Aye.
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Robert,
Aye.
and Andrea.
Aye.
I too vote in the affirmative. All right.
I've lost. We're all done?
Nope, not yet. I now move that the commissioners present find as fact that the proposed facade restoration and new paint color for 200 Fair Street in the Fair Street Historic District by the applicant Wright Architects PLLC and owner Fair Maiden LLC, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of Kingston City Code, is compatible with the historic character of the building and the district for the following reasons. That the proposed work is to take place at the 2.5-story brick building with mansard roof located on the northeastern corner of Fair Street and Maiden Lane, with its facade facing west, appearing on the 1870 Beers map of Rondout, Kingston, and Wilbur, but not appearing on the 1858 map of Ulster County by J. French, therefore having been built sometime between 1858 and 1870. That the proposed work will involve the in-kind facade restoration, repair, and repainting of all wooden elements, window frames, fascia boards, soffit and soffit brackets in white, and the repainting of all masonry elements in Benjamin Moore Amherst Gray, HC 167, with brick repointing, regrouting, and repair. That this work will cause a material change in the external appearance of the property, that the new color will not detract from the character of the historic district or the building, and that any changes or additions to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to additional work being carried out, and that this commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, it's proposed that we resolve on this 6th day of August 2020 that the Commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work described herein, and in its application to the Commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I have a second? Thank you, Peter, for the second. I'll call the roll. Hayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
And I vote in favor as well.
Very good.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. Best of luck with your work. And thank you.
And thank you all for the work you're doing. It's long overdue in the city of Kingston. Have a good night.
We do what we can. Good night now.
Good night.
This is
All
Sue.
right, next.
Andrew, you're going to stay around for the rezoning?
Oh, is that directed toward Mr. Wright?
Would you like me? Sue?
Yes.
Coming back. Yeah, I can do that. I'll do that. I'll just, I'll mute off and then I'll stay on.
Correct. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, next on the agenda, 27 West Chestnut Street. Have we got folks here for that?
Yes, we do.
All right.
Hi, yes. We are David Smilo and Carolyn Silvera, the residents at 27 West Chestnut, and Jolie Herbst, our landscape designer, is here also.
All right. Hi. What would you like the commission to know about this this new stone wall?
Would you like me to speak about it?
Please.
Okay, so the project is
I do have to ask you to identify yourself first.
Oh, sure. I'm Jolie Herbst, the landscape designer for Carolyn and David for 27 West Chestnut. And we are working on a vegetable garden in front of the house. The house is up on a hill and it's on a steep slope. So the retaining wall was required to help grade out the area for the vegetable garden. The wall is 3 feet high at its highest point, and then fading down to the ground over the course of 20 feet.
Okay. So
and then
going across the slope.
Right. As it slopes, the property actually slopes in two ways. It slopes steeply down toward the street. So from the street, you're looking way up high at the house. But it also slopes across the property in the other direction. So the wall is parallel to the house and about 20 feet in front of it. And then the fence will be about a third of the front of the house, with a welded wire fence raising 4 feet high, and then a 6 foot high rail above that. So it will be open between 4 foot and 6 feet.
Okay.
And then within the fence is a raised garden bed, but that won't be particularly visible, especially being behind the wall and behind the fence.
All right. Any questions or comments from the board? Yes, Hayes?
Just to be clear, so the fencing material is not going to block the view of the facade of the house from the street?
The fence does block part of the house. I don't believe that it detracts from the beauty of the house, but it does. The front door is centered on the house. There's a porch that the fence does not block. The fence is about, I would say, about 1/3 of the front of the house, and only, blocking probably from the street, because of the angle of sight, probably blocking less than 6 feet, which is the ultimate height of the fence. It probably blocks maybe 4 feet from
So
the
it's
ground.
blocked by the vertical post more than the fence, right?
I would say so, yeah.
Okay.
Especially because between the 4 foot rail and the 6 foot rail, there is no wire fencing. The wire fencing only goes to 4 feet.
So when I'm trying to understand from 4 feet down is where we're getting a bit of blocking, but not the full height. I understand that. So that 4 feet section, if you can give me a sense of how much of the facade would be covered by that.
I'm having a hard time understanding the question. It was a little hard to hear.
Okay, I'll lean in and hope that works.
Let me try to answer. And
You've got the elevated single rail, which isn't going to block much, but from 4 feet down, you're set into a hillside with a house up above. I'm trying to understand, following up on Hayes's question, how much of the house will be would be hidden by the solid, more solid part of the fence.
Mhm.
Can you give me a sense of that?
Well, I think we actually have a picture we can pull up from just walking through. Yeah, that's pretty good. So
Have this page in your packet.
thank you, Susan.
Okay.
Refer to that.
And if
All right.
if not, here, let me just.
Oh, that
So
is
the
a
wall-
little more clear for me.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I do appreciate that. Thank
So,
you. Ooh,
And from what,
not a large number, not a big percentage.
not a big percentage. I would say that the like I don't even think on the left side there's that tree right in front of the house, and that window is that's our kitchen window. I think that the rails of the fence are going to basically the 4 foot probably goes right about to that spot is what I think I've seen visually. And then the fencing itself is open. It's wire. It's not a solid. It's not like planked.
Okay. Does anyone else on the board have additional questions for the applicant? Evan?
Yeah, just one question is there a solid panel on this? I'm having a little bit of difficulty envisioning it, you know, from the drawings. Is any part of it a solid panel, or is it all, you know, the wire?
Well,
wire.
the only part that's a solid panel is the raised bed, and so that will only be 2 feet off the ground in the front left corner as viewed from the road.
Okay. And that goes 16 feet across?
It
That's
actually
what it looks
goes,
like.
we go 11 feet across.
11 feet. Okay.
Do you have a sense of it now, or do you need to?
Oh, yeah, maybe wait a second. The raised. There's the porch. Yeah. Wait a minute.
Okay.
The 6, it looks like 16. The 11 looks like it goes the other way
Jolie,
towards the house.
On this drawing, you're showing the
Right.
16 feet over on
Yeah,
this piece here. I think that's what he's referring to. Is that solid?
Right. Yeah. The street face. Yeah. You have 30 feet at the bottom outlined, and then 16 of it would have by where the raised beds are would have a solid slat, from what
Exactly.
I'm gathering.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But only
And
2
that
feet.
would just go. Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying there. Okay.
Andrea, you have a question?
Yes, Andrea speaking. What is the intention with the treatment of the exposed wood, like the posts and the beds themselves? Is anything going to be painted, stained? Is it all meant to be left as raw wood?
I would recommend leaving it as raw wood. The raised beds are cedar, so that definitely won't be treated. The fence is pressure treated because it's the longest lasting, and it can be stained, but needs to dry out first. So that wouldn't be something that would happen anytime this year.
Okay, further questions from the board? Thank you, Robert.
Yeah, hi. Nice house. Very pretty.
Thank you.
I just have a question. Why, let me see, a vegetable garden in the front yard? Personally, I've always had an issue with that. But that, that doesn't, that's my own stuff. But why not in the backyard? Or do you have a backyard? Or I'm sure you've thought about it, so it's,
Well, Jolie, you're really the design wizard, but I can say that we have a little bit of backyard that very quickly starts to slope very sharply downhill towards Wells Lane, right? And gets, and then the sun shades it a lot of the day.
Gotcha.
Coming up over the house.
So your best sun and the best place to do this is in the front. I see. Okay, all right. Yeah, you're going to a lot of work and I bet a lot of expense to put in a vegetable garden. Have you tried the farmer's market? Just kidding. Just kidding. It's very nice work, by the way.
There's room for all.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're very excited about gardening, especially this year, but we have always been big on gardening, and are really excited. Actually, the idea, if we were to put this in the backyard, it would have to be way in the back, sort of like in a corner. And I think that Julie just came up with a beautiful design to use the otherwise sort of unusable hill space. I think that the wall and the lines of the fencing actually do a lot for the balance. Like, I think our house already looks less like it's falling off of West Chestnut Street onto Broadway. And yeah, and we're gonna get to be in that garden a lot more because we'll get to see it through a kitchen window.
Okay, great. That's just my question. Thanks.
I will say there was a lot of care given to the design in matching the lines of the house and carrying through those horizontal lines. I think that the stone wall, especially because it's on two different planes, being so steep up the hill and then also grading down in the other direction, the stone wall especially, but the fence as well, help tie the land to the house. And the backyard was just too shady for a vegetable garden.
Got it. Nice. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions from any other commission members? All right, then I will entertain a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Thank you, Hayes. Do I have a second? Thank you, Andrea. All right, I'll call the roll on speaker. Hayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative as well. All right, and I will therefore move that the commissioners present find as fact that the proposed stone wall and fence enclosed garden at 27 West Chestnut Street in the Chestnut Street Historic District by applicant and owner David Smiloff, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the building and the district for the following reasons. That the proposed work is to take place at the two-story brick Italianate building on a pronounced slope to the west of Wells Lane on the northwestern corner of Wells Lane and West Chestnut Street, with its facade facing east, appearing on L.R. Burley's mid-1880s Kingston, New York bird's eye view panoramic map, not appearing on the 1870 year's map of Randolph, Kingston, Wilbur, having therefore been built sometime between 1870 and the mid-1880s. That the proposed work will involve installation of a stone retaining wall with a maximum of 3 feet in height and 20 feet in length, parallel to the street, supporting a 6-foot high by 30-foot wide wood and wire fence with central 4-foot high gate within an 8-foot high open frame, enclosing a new garden in the front of the entrance and along the western wing in front of the house. That this work will cause a material change to the external appearance of the property, that the new landscape garden will not detract from the character of the historic district or the building, and that any changes or additions to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application would be subject to further review by our commission prior to the work being carried out. That this commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from any relevant coordinating agencies, and that based on the preceding findings of fact, I propose that we resolve on the 6th day of August 2020 that this commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein, and in its application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I have a second motion? Oh, I'm going to give Robert this one. Very close, Andrew. I'll call the roll. Hayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much for your application and for your time this evening and for your attention to detail.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
You're
thank
very
you.
welcome.
Thanks so much. Come visit the garden in the future.
Our pleasure. We may browse. All right, next is a recommendation to Common Council on 2-16 Montpropose Avenue. I believe Mr. Wright, if you're still on, you'd like to address this our recommendation, that'd be great. What would you like the board to know about the rezoning that you propose?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, Sandra.
I've owned this lot for about 20 years, and I had pitched this idea over the years. This is a lot that is, in our opinion, miszoned. It's like a spot zone as a triple R where it is. It's in an area of multifamilies. As you know, the Ulster Academy is right there. So we strongly feel that it would be better used as an RT zone for the eventual use to possibly put market rate, nice apartments that are historically accurate. Susan's warned me not to get too much in the design because this is a discussion on the zoning use. And so by pulling the RT zone up, which borders it on two sides, we felt that that was more appropriate. Any questions?
So just to describe the surrounding zoning, there will be left a tiny piece of R next to it. Am I following? Is that correct? I'm trying to understand the map a little bit.
I'm trying to think. Let's say north is up against Taylor property, up the hill, that big beautiful house. On the south and east sides, or maybe that's actually west and south sides, it's RT, which, as you know, this lot is down the hill from West Chestnut. It's more on Pierpont. And so we wanted to pull zoning up because of the triple R being not quite good for a 0.8 acre lot. It's a rather large lot. Am I coming through good?
A little feedback, but you've been understandable so far.
Okay. So we felt that this lot would be more suitable to multiple family market rate apartments for the district due to the fact that that's what's immediate around us. And with parking behind a meeting, we'll go through a long seeker with the planning board, but we request for recommendation so that the zoning can be what we feel more appropriate for that area.
Any piece of its history that you think points toward this?
It has been really, when the school board had it, they parked vehicles on it. They had it for a long time as part of their maintenance department. when I purchased both building number 2 and this lot, they were prior to that, it was, we had actually a public hearing with there's a group in West Chestnut who was concerned about this. So we met them last Saturday in Hasbrook Park, and Eli Bosch stood up. He grew up on Hone Street and said he used to walk across this lot all the time to go to school at school building number 2. And he supported our work. And the history on this is it's been predominantly vacant. The houses, the 4 houses on West Chestnut, which are the same width, are probably early 1900s. They're not that old. There's a 5-family right on the corner of Montrepose and West Chestnut. Mr. Sapir owns that. Then there's a 2-family up against Taylor's property. There is, short of people dumping garbage there and walking their dogs, it hasn't been very exciting. I've been posting signs forever, but Susan's heard about that, so I won't bore you with that. But we think this lot could be better used as filling the fabric of the roundout district coming up, which is evolving and growing. As you know, many of these houses have turned over recently down in Pierpont, McEntee, and is finding a new growth. And our intent is that our development will be historically accurate. We'll be back before this board with our plans, probably fairly soon, depending on how this goes. And we have other buildings we've been restoring in Kingston. I'm sure you're aware, Uptown Kingston, 1 North Front, 286 Clinton, 200 Fair we just talked about. We're putting a huge push in our firm to bring back a lot of the historic accuracy. This will be new construction, but there's tons of examples we can pull from in the area, specifically.
That you're getting into future design as opposed to rezoning.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I know that Hayes has been
I
holding on to a question, so I'd like him to get a chance.
I just want to understand again the RT boundary. So the street down there at one point is Hudson, and then it's West Pierpont, and then it's McEntee. At any point in there is RT zoning, does it jump that street into that side or that north side or whatever direction it is?
Yes. The Ulster Academy was rezoned as RT.
Okay.
So it's pulled all up to West Chest. And on the Taylor Thompson's property is that rather large, beautiful house he has. They call it the golf course. And he is all R, which is really the only other triple R in the district. And I'm going to see if I can pull up. Susan, do we have a map available? I'm looking for
be this map in your packet, which shows where the site is located. You can pull that up.
For those of you trying.
There's the boundaries of the RT district. Shows this parcel, and it shows the West Chestnut Street area as well as the other adjoining piece, which would remain in the triple R zone.
So RT does cross McEntee / West Pierpont / Hudson in that neighborhood.
Yes.
It
Right.
Okay.
Right
That's all I
across.
was. That's all I'm asking. Yeah. Okay.
Kevin.
Yeah, Andrew, I have one question. Have you looked at the 1870 beers map? Because that shows a spring and then the water reservoir for the village of Rondout on it. And I don't know what happened with that, but it might be something worth checking out, like doing some borings or something. That's outside of the scope of zoning and all of that. So we call it a rhetorical question for our purpose.
Hi, I'd like to chime in. This is Julie Ellison Safford. There was a spring there. Kevin, thanks for bringing it to my attention the last meeting. I did look into it. That spring was pipelined into a reservoir by the Delaware Hudson Canal Company to, it says it in the in Ed Ford's Streetwise book. That's where his information is obtained from. So there was a spring, and I don't know what happened to it. And I just know that there's a lot of runoff.
What I know about that is there was a spring house that sits, two houses sitting on that location, number 200 and 202 West Chestnut. The interesting thing is we wondered because there is runoff that comes and goes pretty close to that uphill side. And we did have many years ago, the DEP and DEC asking them, is this a spring or waterway? They had no record of it. And they told me that if it's coming out, don't touch it, don't drink it. But one of the neighbors, Joshua, I don't remember his last name, said that he does have a wet basement and a soggy rear yard. That's I asked him if he saw anything, but again, he says it comes and goes depending on rain as well. So we never found anything factual. Julie, if you have information on that, we're always up for it. We did find lots of maps, overlay maps of how Montrose got developed and how the road got cut and was relayed out over the years. It's an interesting history. As you know, it's Mount Repose Street, not Montrepose, because it was up on a mountain and where the cemetery was, so the people could repose there for the rest of time. That's what we know about it.
All right. Any other questions for the applicant? All right. Any commentary about how we would want to present our recommendation? Suzanne, what's our time limit on this? I think we need to vote at this meeting.
You do. It was introduced at the last meeting in July. However, it had not been officially referred through the council. It has since been referred. So this would be your only opportunity. You've had the month to think it through, but this is your opportunity now to make a vote or make a recommendation.
All right.
One option is to make no recommendation, right?
That's always
Correct.
available to us. So what do we want to let the Common Council know from our point of view? I don't see the rezoning as changing our jobs here. It doesn't change our interest in review of something that actually would be more concrete on the property. It does change the nature of the types of proposals that become possible. But in general, it has little direct impact on our purview from my point of view. What do the rest of you think?
What would our future review? What would our future role with design review be? Is this technically in the West Chestnut Street Historic District?
This is Julie Edelson Safford. Let me speak to that. This is not in the historic district. You would be advisory only on this.
So do we want to take any position in favor, or simply note that we remain interested in any future developments there? What would we like the Common Council to know? Hayes, this is not part of Heritage, am I correct? So this hasn't come before you.
Yes, it is.
It is her.
It is in the, Mark, this is Sue. It is in the heritage area.
All right.
So Heritage will have a more than an advisory role, correct?
Heritage will also have an advisory role in terms of the review, but also they will be conducting the coastal consistency review on this.
Okay. I guess my hesitation with us giving any recommendation on this is if we're going to be completely advisory on the design, is a recommendation in favor of the rezoning proposal going to be looked at as like a de facto endorsement of the whole project? That's my one concern.
I would say no. That would be my opinion. It is not. It does not mean
And
that
I
you will
think we
not
should
have
word it to
an
make that.
opportunity.
Sue, I agree with you that it isn't necessarily, but we would be citing our purview rather than giving we don't have a real application for us to give a true opinion on as a board. What we're just trying to decide is it worth recommending aye or nay, or just simply stating we're taking no position and look forward to receiving these detailed application. Andrea?
I'm thinking it's probably more we shouldn't take a position per se and just remain as advisory.
All right, then you would think that the course of action here is to thank them for calling it to our attention, tell them that we take no position on the rezoning, and we'll look forward to providing an opinion when there is a more concrete proposal for development. All right, so that's Andrea's point of view, and I tend that way as well. Anyone else have any thoughts on how you want to lay this out?
I would agree with that. Yes.
All right. Anyone else? I'm beginning to get a sense of the meeting. Robert, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would agree also.
All right, Kevin.
Yeah, I concur. Just, I don't have any objection in principle to the rezoning, but I concur with what the council is doing here, the commission rather.
All right, then I'm going to move that we respond to Common Council by taking no position on the rezoning and indicating that we look forward to reviewing a concrete proposal once it is presented to us. I'd recommend that we authorize Sue Cahill to prepare that letter and submit it to Common Council before their next meeting. Do I have a second? All right, thank you, Hayes. I'm going to call the roll. Hayes?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. And thank you, Andrea, for stating it so succinctly. I would have gone on much too long had I tried to do it.
My pleasure. I have I speak client and also speak, a profession.
Thank you. So noted.
Okay.
All right. Are there any other items to come before the board? Any items of new business that we feel we need to address? Sue, are you aware of anything? Andrea, yes.
I just want to say I took the camp, the training course thing that happened over 2 weeks. It was very, very good. The presenters were excellent. I think I caught Julie on the in the guest list there. So if you guys get the opportunity to sign up, the digital presentation was excellent and lots of really good commentary and questions and all kinds of stuff. So highly recommend it.
My experience with them was similarly excellent a couple of years ago. So yeah, I want to second that emotion. All right, anything else? All right, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Yes. And Robert, is that a second? All right. We stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Good night now.
Good night.
Everybody.
Good night, everybody.